Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. Why Buddhism? Well, what is Buddhism? The teachings of the Buddha put into practice. Who? What is the Buddha? The Buddha means awakened. So, in this case, awakened to the truth. And the Buddha was a man. He became awakened and therefore attained enlightenment as the Buddha, as we now know Siddhartha Gautama to be, the Buddha, our teacher. And Buddhism is the practice of the Dharma being the teachings of the Buddha. So that's the words out of the way. But why? Well, let's look at the reasons why we can practice the Dharma, why we may call ourselves Buddhists, or maybe not. We may just practice good behaviour, meditation, and develop wisdom. After all, this is Sila, Samadhi, Panya. This is what the practice is. It is the summary of the Noble Eightfold Path, the teachings of the Buddha. But you don't necessarily need to call yourself a Buddhist to be practicing good behaviour, meditation and developing wisdom. Of course, there are many people who are doing this. But why? What are we looking to achieve? Do we want to go to heaven? Avoid going to hell? No. We are looking to become free from suffering in this lifetime. I have a friend who's come to listen to the Dharma today. Now the friend has gone. Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. May you be well, may you be happy. Sukhi Hotu. It was, I think, a crow, we'd call it at home in England. A raven? I'm not sure. Good sign? I'm not sure. I don't believe in superstition. Now, back to this. Why do we practice Buddhism? To become free from suffering in this lifetime. And how do we practice Buddhism? By moral behaviour, keeping the sila, the precepts of no killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying or taking intoxicants, by practicing meditation and developing our minds, developing wisdom. And is this intellectual, unreachable philosophy? No, not at all. Actually, as our friend we witnessed, people, including myself, enjoy listening to the Dharma, or more specifically, listening to the truth. If you listen to a speaker who is simply telling you the truth, then it has a resonance with you. They don't have to be able to speak well, they don't have to look good, they don't have to have flashing lights or beautiful scenery, they don't have to rehearse. When someone shares honestly with you experience and their understanding, and that is in synergy with your own expectations, you will develop, you will establish a harmony. And that is listening to the Dharma. It is listening to music, beautiful music. It may be sometimes you will enjoy a piece of music that somebody else might not enjoy. And you might not enjoy the piece of music they enjoy. So when you're listening to Dharma talks, and there are many available on this platform, YouTube and others, you find a tone, a resonance that appeals to you, like music. And Dharma, like music, has a participatory aspect. You can participate. If you are listening to the Dharma, and it gives you a really good, wholesome, uplifted feeling. Like when you're listening to music, you want to sing and dance. Singing and dancing in Buddhism, in Dharma, is the practice. It is doing good, it is being kind, it is sharing metta, loving kindness. It is developing happiness, developing contentment by reducing desires for what is unwholesome, increasing maybe your aspirations towards the goal of attaining to freedom from suffering in this lifetime, through listening to more Dharma. This isn't an unwholesome addiction, listening to Dharma. It is part of the practice. Like meditation isn't an unwholesome addiction. It is part of the practice. But be careful, you must listen to the correct Dharma that suits you and you know or understand is the truth as far as you expect it to be. And you must practice your meditation for the right reasons. It isn't all just bliss and joy, sitting in comfort. There has to be some element of practice to really see the feelings as they arise, as they pass away, both good and bad, in order to understand that. You understand the impermanent nature of these phenomena. So this is why we practice Buddhism. Not to attain any kind of worldly qualification. Not to, after this world, go to any kind of heaven or prevent ourselves going to any hell. But for sheer enjoyment of the music, the symphony in this life. And we are part of this universe, this world. People say, when I came into this world, I was innocent, born a baby, and then I've learnt through Buddhism, as I grew up through the ages, that I added this, I was educated in that, and I developed this ego, this personality, this what I call me. And they strive in Buddhism to try and eradicate that personality, what they call me, what we call us. But firstly, you didn't come in to this world. You came from this world, from this universe, specifically from the country you were born in, like leaves appear on the trees behind me. They don't come from outside, they come from within these elements, because this is what we are. Earth, water, wind, fire. Solidity, liquidity, gaseous, ferrous. We are just this, just that. Our personality is what we make of ourselves from the conditions we are brought up in, from the conditions we find ourselves in or put ourselves in or develop. But when you listen to that beautiful piece of music that you really like, with your earpods in or your however you choose to do this activity, you become something aside from that, don't you? If that music really does touch your soul, I use the word soul lightly there, touch your inner feelings, resonating with your heart, you have an enormous sense of well-being, bliss, sukha, piti, joy, inside. It is not part of your personality, but it is coming from outside and making you feel so good. So why Buddhism? Because in meditation we can do the same. Experience that same pleasure, joy, and elation that you can have from a beautiful piece of music, but rather than from relying on an external source, you bring this joy up from internally, from within us, from what is already inherently there. The good, and seeing the purity and clarity of our conscious awareness in space, developed through meditation, the samadhi meditation, and leading to jhanas, as mentioned in previous videos now. So this is why we practice this thing called Buddhism. You can take it so much further. It is a religion. In some countries, it is their religion. In other countries, it is a secular practice, practiced by people who like meditation and like the intellectual side of it. It's like pick and mix, pick and choose what you wish. You can go to extremes and become a renunciant, give up your worldly life, become a monk, like me. Even though in this form, as a monk, we pick and choose. We can be teaching monks, we can be study monks, we can be language monks, we can be working monks, we can be community monks, or we can be solitary monks, living alone in the forest, just meditating. My preferred option, but not always. I mix it up. Sometimes I will be in the monastery for a while. This is the beauty of Buddhism. Ultimate flexibility and ultimately a choice. But all we have to do is do nothing. As in, no killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, or taking intoxicants. So refrain from bad things. And sit on the meditation mat, floor, chair, cushion, however you like, and do nothing. Watch the mind. Watch its behaviour. Bring your awareness, your conscious awareness, into the body, the here, the now, this present moment, and see for yourself, individually, how feelings physically arise, how emotions arise and pass away, showing you anicca, showing you impermanence. And notice how you may suffer, how you may be suffering, dukkha, and how that arises and passes away. This is developing wisdom. And very soon those harmonies will become in tune and you will be listening to the music. Very soon you will be singing and dancing. Dancing with every step as you walk mindfully after you leave the meditation environment to wherever you're going from A to B. Stepping right, stepping left, stepping right, stepping left. Won't be a boring marching left, right. It will be a beautiful stepping right, stepping left, feeling and knowing, awakened to the knowing, the knower, the citta, all knowing mindfully this present moment you're in, where there is no suffering, no worries about the past or concerns of the future. Here and now is just what is happening, which is usually very little in the moment. Only time creates an environment for suffering. So this is what we can enjoy. We can be walking without our earpods. We are experiencing music, the music of the Dharma. We are fully awake, maybe not enlightened, but like I said at the beginning, Buddha means awakened, awakened to the truth. If we understand the truth, and it doesn't take an intellectual understanding, we know there is suffering, and we know and we experience all of the time the end of suffering. As one suffering passes away, maybe another suffering comes along, but there is an end there. So we see this, we witness this ourselves in each moment of every day. This is the truth, suffering, the end of suffering. Knowing this, we can sit back, relax, and enjoy our practice without effort other than to occasionally and gently steer ourselves back onto the path of goodness. And how do we do that? We just keep the 5 precepts and we practice this focusing our mind, but gently, just by sitting regularly for as long as we can, meditating, not trying, not concentrating, observing, watching the breath or another meditation object. The breath is good, and watching the mind. and developing this wisdom, this understanding of the Four Noble Truths, practicing our lives in accordance with the Noble Eightfold Path. And through this practice, you too will awaken the Buddha already within you. You were born with. Out of this world, into this world, from this universe, as part of this universe, you were born with purity, with goodness, with a clear mind, seeing clearly, vipassana, that's all it means. You were born with this, like you were born with the Buddha within you. Let it show, awaken it, let it come out, and enjoy the music, sing and dance. But as you know, monks do not sing, do not dance, and do not listen to music or entertainment. But that's just monks. You can, if you're a lay person. But we use, adopt, choose, accept, and ultimately actually enjoy that precept, because we get so much more benefit from our meditation as a result of not having the distraction of music in our lives. Music is such a good, close comparison to the piti and sukha, joy and pleasure derived in meditation, because it is also quite a close, or quite a distracting aspect in our minds if we're from a musical background or we enjoy music and we're meditating. As you'll know, you'll hear it, music going on and on, perhaps like this, when you're meditating. So this is why we just choose and find it useful in our practice not to have that. So I use the term music and singing and dancing as metaphorically, an analogy, if you like, a simile. But this is our practice. This is your practice. Enjoy it. May your practice be fruitful, and may you attain to Nibbana. Namo Buddhaya. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Namassami. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu. May you be happy, may you be well. Namo Buddhaya. Namaste.